Hello guys and welcome to my new series titled The Best UK Rappers. Now I've said before quite a lot in my videos that I'm not really a fan of UK rap, mainly because of their accents and all that stuff. But a few weeks ago I went over to Manchester, went to a few clubs there, and literally all they played was UK hip hop, and it did make me really think about it and like kind of want to delve into it more. So that's why I've started this series. I've started this series to try and find the best UK rappers, and I think it's really interesting because pretty much all this music is new to me because I've never been a fan of UK rap before. It's very similar to my worst rappers in the game series, except with this one we'll be trying to find the best rappers from the UK, and that's the closest you're gonna get to best rappers in the game. I have heard pretty much zero UK rappers in full, so this is gonna be a very much a kind of first impressions series for me. And now, just to explain this, because it is a new series, I'm going to be ranking them on 3 factors. Now those 3 factors are going to be vocals plus accent, because the accent is very important to me when it comes to UK rappers. The second part will be lyrical ability, and the third part will be my enjoyment of their discography. So 3 factors, similar to my worst rappers in the game, except I'm only talking about 3 different factors. I'm going to talk about them a bit differently, and I'm going to talk for longer about each one. So in this inaugural episode, I will be talking about Krept and Konan. So, are they the best rappers from the UK in my opinion? Let's find out.
Tell him don't waste my time, waste man waffling down my phone. Tell him don't waste my time, no. Tell him don't waste my time. Tell him don't waste my time.
And first we will be discussing their voice and accent. Even though these guys are both from London, they do sound fairly different in terms of their voice. I'd definitely say out of the 2, Konan has the better voice, just in my opinion. He can vary it a bit more. I like the fact it's a bit deeper, and he also makes really good hooks. He makes most of the hooks for the group, and he does them very well. My favourites from him are the hooks on Do It For The Gang.
She got mad. Pop that, bet she do it for the gang, do it for the gang,
and We In Here.
Don't worry about them girls over there, cause they're basic. Let them all stare, we ain't going nowhere. Go tell them bitches that we in here.
Also, as for Konan's accent, I actually find it very listenable. He doesn't use too much UK slang, which is great for me, and even though a lot of London rappers can sound annoying, Konan is not one of those rappers for me. It's weird because he has a stronger accent than Krept does, but I really do not mind it. There is one time where his accent annoyed me though, and this is oddly specific, but the way he says banter on FWTS just makes me want to turn the song off.
I crashed the Astra for
Banter. But it's only minor things like that that gets to me. Now, I don't like Krept's voice as much. However, I will say Krept's voice is a lot more suitable for a few of their hype tracks, and he just sounds better on some of them. While I say I don't like it as much, I don't mean to say I dislike his voice, it's just I prefer Konan's. Best example is, again, on FWTS. I feel that Krept sounds much better on here, and I actually prefer him over Konan on this track.
Better watch your words, dog. Catch you slipping, cameras out like world star.
With all that being said though, they sound amazing together, and I'd prefer to listen to them together than listen to one or the other any day. They make their voices and their accent work really well together. Overall, comparatively to what I have heard from the UK, Krept and Konan sound pretty great, and I find them extremely listenable, which is big coming from me who hasn't really been a fan of UK accents recently. Next, we will be talking about their lyrical ability, an important factor when talking about UK hip-hop. Now, the only reason this surprises me is potentially because Krept and Konan are the first rappers I've really checked out from the UK, but oh my god, they use wordplay a lot. And I mean a lot. And it's not like throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. It's usually like very good wordplay. They're even pretty lyrical on their hype songs as well, and that did surprise me. I'll try and pick out their best ones, but doubtless a lot of them went over my head. You have to listen to the songs quite a few times, I find, to be able to clock everything that they say. Their song MDMA is basically a banger track, but they still had really good wordplay throughout.
Press the X like Simon Cowell. She pissed that I never take her for dinner. So hold this ain't Chinatown. Give her the wood, but I ain't trying to stick around.
Give her the pap till I'm exhausted.
That is just from one song, and it's mainly a hype song as well. I think one of my favorite pieces of wordplay from them is Conan on Lord Forgive Me. He says,
Come a long way, I remember the days getting queen heads off of Henry's and apes. Plenty of
the main reference you probably caught there was to Henry VIII, a king who had 2 of his wives beheaded. However, there was a part I didn't catch until now. In the UK, Henry is slang for an eighth of something. For example, an eighth of drugs. So if he's saying he's getting queen's heads off of drugs, the queen's heads he's referring to in that context is money. I just thought it was pretty intelligent, especially for just one single bar. Actually, if you want to hear the whole sequence that lines comes from, I'll play it. He has like 4 lines of wordplay in a row.
remember the days getting queen heads off of Henry's and apes. Plenty of brain with these grams on my mind. Before Insta we had the grams that they like. You can get A about hands on your man. Watch your donuts getting jammed with a knife. Tell that little side man.
I just think that's amazing personally. As I gave my favourite from Konan, my favourite line from Krept is this.
Youths want a Pokemon, girls want a Pikachu. If A bad be like what they see, they get the D from you. E don't give a F, he'll stick you up and take a G from you.
There are so many examples of their impressive wordplay, but I could be here all day just playing through their entire discography. As you can tell, these guys are incredibly skilled in the art of wordplay. I didn't show too many examples, but if you want punchlines that make you think a little bit, and when you get them, you know, they just like, you have that kind of light bulb moment, Krept and Konan are those guys. And lastly, we'll be discussing my discography enjoyment of Krept and Konan. To get a good opinion of these guys, I checked out their album The Long Way Home and their mixtape Young Kingz. Let's start with Young Kingz. I thought this album had a pretty insane mix of banger tracks and emotional tracks. I really do prefer the loud synthy party tracks that they do. However, tracks like My Story and Brothers deserve a place on the tape, no doubt. Those songs are definitely tearjerkers, and I listen to them often.
The name and the fame, we run the game together. You're my brother from another man, it's more than rap. You know I got you if you're falling back. Man, this unity's tight. All this music aside, you my brother, we a unit for life.
Like, don't let me discredit the deeper tracks on here because they are great. I just usually listen to this project when I need to get hyped up. Songs such as MDMA, Young and Reckless, and... oh, I'm gonna sound ridiculous if I don't say this right. Blood Clot, how's that for you? Have such grimy raw beats, and it's a sound they pull off so well. I also love that these guys can do American style hip hop songs too. For example, Don't Waste My Time sounds exactly like a US rap song with the beat, but Krept and Konan inject their own personalities into it perfectly. The only song I didn't really like on here was Green Street, but that's about it. A really incredible project, and it surprised me a lot when I heard it. Now let's talk about their debut album, The Long Way Home. I don't like this one as much as Young Kingz, but it does sound a lot more polished and better put together. If you listen to songs like Think About It, they just sound a lot cleaner. And speaking of that track, it's actually pretty interesting. It's got what I'd describe as a Drake type beat, but with 2 very good rappers over it, it's really nice. While I do talk about how I like Konan's voice more, I think it's this album that really made me think Krept had the better flow in the group. He switches his flows a lot and uses multiple different ones between tracks. For example, on FWTS, he uses a much slower flow which works for the sound the track aims for, making the punchlines hit harder. However, on Fell Apart, he uses a faster paced flow with much longer lines, and that works for the storytelling on this track. His flow is great. As for some negatives, I'm not a fan of the song Certified. Like, the beat has that digital brass sound that I really don't enjoy, but I love how it has a bunch of meme references on it. That's always a good thing. One thing I really have to question though is why in the world is Freak of the Week their most popular song? Honestly, in my opinion, it's one of their worst tracks. Actually, I'd go as far to say it's their worst that I've heard, full stop. It doesn't suit them at all, but I guess it is pretty cool that they're getting a lot of recognition from it. Also, I don't mind long tracks, but some on here were just a bit too long. Apart from that, it was really good. So as you can tell, I really love the music of Krept Konan, and I can't wait to hear more from them. Young Kingz and The Long Way Home were really damn good. So now in this last part, I'm just gonna give my overall thoughts to summarize how I feel about Krept Konan. Krept Konan are great, and they are officially the rappers that have properly introduced me to UK hip hop. I'm really interested to looking into them more. As for how they rank, they're the only rappers I've talked about in the series so far, so they are automatically the best rappers I've looked at so far in this series. It might be hard for another rapper to top them though. And that concludes my first ever episode of the best UK rappers. Well guys, thank you for watching this video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and please share the video because that really helps it get out there and get more traction and all that good stuff. You can follow me on Instagram under the username CDTVProductions, and let me know if you have any requests of people who you want to see in this series in the comments below, because I'm very much looking forward to really diving into UK hip hop and seeing what I've been missing out on. I did want to make this pretty different to my worst rappers in the game series, hence why it has a different thumbnail. I don't use a numbered rating system. I felt like this would be a better opportunity just to discuss things without having to put numbers on it. Yeah, I wanted to make it kind of its own entity and not just like a spin-off of worst rappers in the game. So I really want it to be its own series. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. This is CDTV Productions, signing out.